I don't have a gavel, so I can't bang on this thing, but it's great to see everybody on this beautiful morning. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. And now we will start with member introductions. Where is Warren? Warren, you going to kick us off here? Huh? Yeah.
Ray Sandelli at large.
Good morning, everyone. Mark Mora, County Administration, representing County Manager Dave Harner.
Good morning, everyone. Brian Hammond, Lee County Commissioner.
Good morning, everyone. Chair of the Lee County School Board.
Armor Persons.
Good morning, Helen Edenfield, Horizon Foundation President.
Good morning, Molly Scott, Horizon Council Treasurer.
Matt Repsdorf, Vice Chair.
Devin Parker, Sydney and Byrne Davis Art Center and Arts and Culture Committee Chair.
Karen Moore, Southwest Florida Business Today newspaper and Business Resources Committee Chair.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Jeff Allbritton, President here at FSW, the #1 softball team in the nation today, right now. Just thought I'd say that. #1 in the country. Let me introduce a new person on my staff, my new External Affairs Director. Rex's going to let her stand up and introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. Christine Belport. I'm Managing Director of Communications and External Affairs. I am so happy to return to Fort Myers after Hurricane Ian chased me back up to Wisconsin.
Good morning, Robbie Repsdorf, represent the Industrial Development Authority.
Good morning, Gerard Carrington, Florida Gulf Coast University, wings up.
Good morning, everybody. Denise Carlin, the proud superintendent of Lee County Public Schools.
Jeannie Richards, representing ABC.
Good morning, Richard Durling with Marvin Homes, representing the Lee Building Industry Association.
Good morning, Jay Johnson with Bubba's Roadhouse and Saloon, representing the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, Lee County Chapter.
Good morning, Josh Philpott with Stantec on behalf of the Real Estate Investment Society.
Good morning, Randy Chris Commercial Group, representing Lee County Port Authority Airport Special Management Committee.
Good morning, Jackie Lezak, Fort Myers Beach Chamber of Commerce President.
Good morning, Dan Adams with Stevens Construction, representing the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Tom Mueller, representing the Chamber of Southwest Florida. I'm with ReWorld. We turn all your trash into energy every day.
All right.
Pablo Adorno, I'm with Lee County Animal Services. I'm the director there.
Good morning, everyone. Sergio Perez, Lee County Domestic Animal Services.
Good morning, Karen Hull, also with Lee County Domestic Animal Services.
Good morning, Mark Stevens with Stevens Construction, member at large.
Good morning, Bev Larson, ERA Lahaina Realty, member at large.
Mary Gentile, LQ Property Management, member at large.
Tony Loppe with Twin Waters Inn, representing the Tourist Development Council.
Good morning, Rob Harris, Executive Director of the Southwest Regional Manufacturers Association.
Good morning, Chase Henderson, representing Southwest Florida Tech on behalf of our President, Laura Schmidt.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Silvia Diaz. I am representative Southwest Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Tim Herman, Southwest Florida SCORE, mentoring your entrepreneurs and small businesses, Southwest Florida.
All the way down. Layout's different.
Last time I jinxed ourselves when I said Sean Smith, first place
We've only won 8 games since then.
Denise Vidal, Lee County Electric Cooperative, Member at Large.
Good morning, Matthew Zwok with Owen Ames Kimball, Member at Large.
Good morning, Bill Johnson Jr., Horizon Foundation Executive Director.
Good morning, Jennifer Rodriguez, EDO. Good morning, Tatum Walker, Lee County Economic Development.
Good morning, Garrett Heiser with Lee County EDO.
Good morning, Dirk Danley, Lee County EDO.
Guido Minaya with Minaya Learning Global Solutions in the Horizon Foundation.
Dennis Landfried, Finemark Bank and Trust, Member at Large.
We good?
Hold on, one more.
One more? All right.
I don't know. Lee Ford, Member at Large.
All right, well, welcome everybody. It's so great to have you here today. We appreciate your time. We have the minutes from the general membership meeting on 3/27. If you had an opportunity to review those, motion to approve, Bev. Thank you. Is there a second? Name? Rob Harris with the second. And any further discussion? All in favor? Aye, all right. The minutes are approved. Well, I'm going to give a brief chairman's report, and I get to share the results of the Edison's Awards, which was just absolutely amazing. How many were able to attend this year? A lot of people, and we were privileged to be able to host this, the world's most renowned innovation awards that took place on April 16th right here in Lee County, Florida. We started with a reception the evening of the 15th, and it was the most beautiful night. If you were able to attend outside, right on the river, at the Edison and Ford Winter Estates. Absolutely gorgeous, looking around, seeing our leaders from the community, surrounded by leaders from the country and all across the world, including Commissioner Adam Silver and Ahmad Rashad and others. I was excited because I was able to take my picture with Greg Oden, who was a #1 draft pick from The Ohio State University several years ago. He went on to the Portland Trailblazers, and yeah, he's 7 feet tall, so that was a great picture for me. But it was really exciting and just such an amazing evening. And then followed by the gala the next evening, where the Edison Achievement Awards for Visionary Leadership did go to Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, for the phenomenal growth that he's contributed to over the past many years across the NBA's global ecosystem. And they also acknowledged and honored Rihanna, who came through virtually, and we were celebrating her trailblazing impact as not only a musician, but as in the fashion industry and as an entrepreneur. She certainly is using the gifts that God gave her to the fullest potential and is an inspiration to us all. And along with these two, we also had our own AI High School Challenge winners right on the stage with them. Isn't that amazing that we have our kids who are the future innovators of this great country? The day program was really exciting too. They had a showcase at CLUSA, and if you remember, I remember growing up watching the Jetsons. You remember the Jetsons? And we are there. You see the little plane thing, the 2-seater, and then the dog that was a robot that reminded me of Astro. He was standing on his head, trying to shake my hand, doing a high five, spinning. It was amazing, but so many great innovations on the showcase floor to walk around. During the day, they had a number of discussions, fireside chats. One that was especially impressive to me was Bracken Durrell, CEO of Vans Footwear, who was able to share his story growing up with a single mom who his dad abandoned him at 9, wore the same pair of pants throughout high school, and just had this unbelievable drive to succeed. And he talked about how important culture is and how fast it's shifting. And one thing that I really respected, when he looks through new leaders, two things he's looking for: speed and drive. You know, today you have to move quickly, and you have to have that drive, that fire in you to help move things forward. And he's been successful in his career, a number of different companies, an innovator and an inspiration for us all as a champion for culture. During the day also, we had a future of energy, medical innovation and vitality, panels from experts from Mayo. We also had they talked about improving patient outcomes. The AI with health today is phenomenal, and it's going to really lead to better outcomes, earlier detection of disease, which is great for us all. And we also had Jeb Bush and Eric Eichenberg sharing the Everglades one with the Game Changer Award was won by the Everglade Foundation. So right here, this amazing innovation to restore the Everglades. So all in, we are so proud to be able to host this, and we appreciate all the work and the efforts by so many to make this event successful. Sandy Stillwell and the Edison Awards Committee from the foundation did a lot of work to accommodate, so we really are greatly appreciative of that. We are planning for the Industry Appreciation Awards. They're going to be held on October 23rd, and that will also be at the closest sound. And we are going to put the theme around our 35th anniversary. We're targeting May 1st for nominations, and then we would close that by May 30th and announce winners would be selected in July. And we're currently reviewing and confirming the categories, and Tatum's working on securing a location for the President's Circle. And most likely that will be at the Red Sox Stadium, and more to come on that. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Helen. If you have a foundation update, thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm going to continue a little bit on the theme of the Edison Awards. One of the things that we did a little bit differently than what we had done in years past is really have an emphasis and focus on local marketing. So Priority Marketing did a phenomenal job, and wanted to give you some information on that. We had local media reach, over 5.5 million hits, articles, reviews, online, and Karen did an amazing feature as well, but a lot of local media picked it up, and so we think that that was very successful in driving. One of the things that we've had an emphasis on as well as being ambassadors when we're hosting and having people come in. I left the reception, actually I lost my voice. I talked so much. So it was successful in my eyes because I left with no voice. So I did my part, but it was great. And I would just, again, next year, April, just mark it on your calendars. It's an amazing event. A lot of things that you get exposed to that you wouldn't by not going, but a lot of local effort that has gone into it. We will continue the co-foundation Horizon Council committee to focus in on that and make sure that we're doing everything that we can to keep Edison Awards here locally, but also make it shine through our community and open it up and make sure that everybody has access and visibility to that. So great event. I did want to also share with everybody that on the foundation itself, we actually had a really good first quarter. We exceeded our expectations on the foundation, and we were expecting, we improved on our goals for Q1 on the fundraising by $48,000. And we improved our financial position roughly $86,000 overall on our budget. So we had some very positive things come in. First quarter, a lot of things do come in first quarter, so we're hoping that we have a very successful second quarter as well. Anybody that has any cash lying around that you need something to do with, make sure that you see Bill, and he will make sure that he takes that off your hands and applies it appropriately in the foundation. I think that's all I have. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. And now we're pleased to have Commissioner Hammond. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I know the agenda said I couldn't attend, so this is actually my AI robot. Wouldn't that be great if you could do that, right? Well, before I get into my remarks today, I do want to mention my colleague, Commissioner David Mullica, called me personally to send his regrets to Estero. We're so excited to hear about all the things that you guys have planned and in the works. And as your district commissioner, he wanted you to know he's here to support you. And sorry he couldn't make it this morning, but you got me. I'm here. Real quickly, I just wanted to cover a couple things. I wanted to give a brief primer on how we plan roads in Lee County. I think coming out of tourist season, this is that glorious time of year where we get our roads and our restaurants back, especially as school starts to even wind down. We love schools, but there's even extra traffic that comes on the roads too. And so during the summer, we really get a break, but it's a good time to talk about roads. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is, are roads even planned in Lee County? How do you guys do road planning, right? And that is one of the jobs of county commissioners. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to do. It usually involves a lot of spreadsheets, but we do plan roads. In fact, we have a full roadmap, pun intended, for our transportation plan. We call it the Capital Improvement Program. And basically it determines what roads get built, what order they get built in, and roughly when they will get built. And a lot of that is determined based on timing and priorities. But the big picture is, in Lee County, we actually have $3.7 billion worth of road projects planned. And we've planned it out all the way till basically the year 2050. Now, these are major widenings, like we're widening Corkscrew Road. We're working on Sunshine Boulevard and Lehigh Acres. We've even talked about new connections. We've got a $455 million new connection we're going to build called the Alico Road Extension. That will help people in Lehigh who need to get south to get to work every day. Right now, they've only got two ways out of Lehigh. That's Colonial and Daniels, and you see them on Colonial and Daniels every day. Now we can give them a third outlet, and the models say that's the biggest reliever for traffic right now, is if we can get that Alico Road connector. So it's funded, it's planned. We're kind of waiting on permits from the Army Corps of Engineers. You guys who are in the development world know how much fun that is. So projects are basically prioritized by the county commissioners in tiers. We have tier 1, which is basically the projects that are funded, they're designed, they're ready to build. Those are ready to build rather. Those are the ones that you're actually seeing under construction or will see under construction very soon. Tier 2, that's where we put the projects that are planned, but they're waiting for future funding. And then tier 3 are projects that are important, but they're longer term and definitely not funded right now. So out of that $3.7 billion worth of projects planned, we've got a pretty big unfunded problem right now with that. I'll tell you that because we're going to talk about how we pay for roads. So $3.7 billion worth of needs between now and 2050, and we only make about $50 to $60 million a year to put towards roads. So the way we fund roads in Lee County, and really the state of Florida, and really the United States of America at this point, is out of sync and out of date with the way we actually use the roads these days. A lot of it is based on the gas tax. Well, the gas tax is actually declining. We're driving more fuel-efficient cars. We're also seeing electric vehicles, which are not paying into the gas tax system. Impact fees and toll revenue also make up our road funding, and we also seek grants. In fact, we're in Washington, D.C. right now trying for a pretty big grant, about $250 million for the Cape Coral Bridge rebuild. A quick note about impact fees. A lot of people say, well, gosh, you commissioners don't charge impact fees anymore. Well, ask the person who just built a house recently. We actually charge about $9,800 on a single family home in impact fees. Now, the law says we could probably double that up to $18,000, and there's a policy debate on just because you can collect a fee or a tax, should you collect that full fee or tax? I mean, we don't treat any other fee or tax like that. Your property taxes, we could collect up to $10 per thousand of taxable value, but we only collect $3.76. Why? Because we want to have a low-cost environment. We don't want to tax you to death. So we do collect the impact fees, though, and so if you could help me with that rumor, I'd appreciate it. So the scale of the project, these are extremely big projects. Like I mentioned, Alico Road, $455 million, but it's really not the funding that we're waiting on that project. The problem there is permitting. So one of the things that we have to do when we go to build a road, first we got to study it, then we got to design it, figure out where it's going to go, then we've got to permit. Now, permitting can take 8 years sometimes when you're building a road. In fact, right now we're praying that the Army Corps of Engineers will accept our mitigation. We bought a big giant preserve. We're saying we're going to preserve 500 acres here. We're going to restore this 500 acres to pay for the environmental sin of the Alico Road extension, which will impact about 80 acres of wetlands. So we have to buy 500 acres to try to offset 80 acres of impacts. We're hoping that the Corps accepts that. If not, we've got to find something else to do, and that might be more expensive. But then after you finally get through permitting, of course, you got to go through the procurement. Everything's competitively bid. We try to find the lowest cost, most responsible people to build these roads, but road prices have just really gone through the roof lately. Even when you get 3-4 bids, they're all pretty high. Then finally, construction. The construction, I always laugh because even though it seems like roads are under construction forever, many times that's the shortest part of the whole road plan. It might take 18 to 24 months, but you didn't see the 10 years that we were in permitting before that. And so with that, I wanted to wrap it up by saying the bottom line is Lee County absolutely hasn't failed to plan for roads. We could give you the plan. It's, man, 30, 40 projects deep, $3.7 billion. It's just that we're building as much as we can with the money we have available as fast as we can. And so with that, I guess I'll leave you guys with that, and I look forward to hearing about Estero and all the roads we're going to build to get there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner Hammond. Excellent. Now we'll have John Talmadge with our economic development update.
The one thing I want to say this morning is that our official estimate, population estimate, came out recently, and our population is just a tad under 876,000 people. So that's 120,000 people more than our population was counted in 2020 or in the last census. So if you think about that, that was 124,000 people less than 1 million people. So it's not inconceivable that we will hit 1 million people in the next 6 years. So it's a tremendous amount of growth. I think they're all living in Estero and Bonita. But at least the roadways will say that, and Lehigh. But just, to the commissioner's credit, we're doing with the roads as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Great, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Now we have a Lee County Department update. Come on up. We're going to have the Lee County Domestic Animal Services is going to share some of the great things that they're doing. A new addition to the agenda called Lee County Department Update.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday again. Sergio Perez, Domestic Animal Services. We have a quick, brief presentation for you today to share some of the exciting things we're doing. But before we get into that, one of the things I love to do everywhere we go, we'd love to encourage folks to come in and visit us. We're over at 5600 Banner Drive, because the main thing about that is when you come into our building, it's hard to leave without having a new furry friend, bring one home. So we love to have everyone in, encourage your friends, families. We're doing some really great things out in the community, and just we want to continue to educate. That's our biggest point at this point going forth. We want to educate the community and work with our community and our partnerships. So we're excited about what's ahead, and we're excited to go through some slides today. So.
So thank you for having us today, and yes, please come visit us. We want to inform you on what we do. We'd like to show you around our facility. We've made changes, a lot of improvements, and in part thanks to Mark Bohr, our Assistant County Manager, who helped us through some of these projects. So.
Good morning. I'm the bright, sunny one of the three of us. That's not true. That's Sergio. We are so thankful that you brought us out here. We love coming out to tell the community a little bit about what we do. And we're often referred to as animal control. And every time I do hear that, I correct, because we are animal services. We do animal control. That is our animal control officers, but that's only one portion of what we do. And even our officers are not out to control the county. We're out to provide services for them. So different connotations, so I always correct everybody on that. The former screen, let me go back to that. These are all pictures from a little thing that happened in our county. You may know Hurricane Ian. When that went through, we were very busy at our department. We had 6 officers working the beach, 12 hours a day, and they did save, I think our last count was 65 animals off the beach. Most were cats, because they run up. So they did quite well there. So we are very proud of that. I do leave these slides up for that because we're very proud of what we did there. So what we are dedicated to, our number one priority, and this is something that we always let people know, is ensuring public safety and health. That is a huge portion of our animal control aspect. We do have to provide that safety for everyone out in the community. Secondly, we provide education on responsible pet ownership. That is part of what we're doing now. We go out to schools, things like that. If we do the education ahead of time, our hope is that does help later on, especially in the schools. That always starts with the kids. I'm sure you can agree with that, right? And reducing pet overpopulation through humane methods, which is spay and neutering. Spay and neuter your pets, please, and microchip them. And reuniting missing and lost pets with rightful owners. That is our lost and found department. So our lost and found department is very busy all day. Right now they are intaking a very large amount of kittens. So as a thank you for this, you all will get one. You just have to stop on over. I get 5600 Banner Drive. They're all waiting for you. It's cute. You guys think I'm kidding? No, not at all. And then we adopt them out after they're evaluated. Sergio just finally adopted one. He's a new dog dad, as is Commissioner Hammond. The average household, I am floored at the number you just gave me for population, because the average household has 2.5 pets. Yeah, right? So you're under average, but we'll help you out with that. All right, the difference between us and a private shelter. So private shelter, the biggest one in the area is Gulf Coast Humane Society, for reference. So public, we're government operated. Private it's private nonprofit. So we get funding from the government, obviously. We provide enforcement of the laws. So we are the only place where strays can come. And everybody always kinds of rolls their eyes at that. But the reasoning for that is if you are missing your pet, you need to know where to go. And you don't even need to know if you're from out of state, type in your phone, lost my dog, where do I go? We're gonna come up. People are gonna know where to go. And we also, because we provide enforcement of the laws, if the strays do come in bad shapes, we're going to be the ones that are going to hold them accountable. So that is why that is. They can only take in unwanted owned animals. With that, they can also, when they do it, they already know their behavior, they already know their health, they're intaking adoptable animals to start. So that is the main difference between us. We do work with them. Every day we work with Gulf Coast, we work with Cape Coral Animal Shelter. We have a great partnership with a lot of them in the area. Like I just said, only ones, and it is county ordinance. That it allows for 24 hours to bring it in unless you use our pet portal that we just started about 6 months ago. It's a great tool for the community. You can upload a stray animal on there, or if you're missing your own, and that gives an extra 72 hours to be able to find the owner and then bring them into us if you cannot. People come in every day looking for their pet. Trust me, every day. So you don't want to hold on to someone else's pet. They can limit due to space availability, and of course, we do not know, just us sitting here, we don't know how many came in to the shelter. So, operating budget. Before I show you this, keep in mind, if it gets doubled, we will use it. Okay, so moving on. But yes, we use every penny of that, and most of it is obviously pre-spent on things like overhead, salaries, all that. But no worries, we do have a backup plan for that. Licensing fees and spay and neuter programs, they do offset some of that. Most people do not know. Citations, if you get cited, that goes to the court system. We don't get that money. So we're not citing people because we need the money. No, just to hold them accountable. This is just a very small part of the services we provide in every department. If I listed them all, we need about 10 screens, but it is the most important things that we do. The field department especially does far more than you see. There is more hoarding in the county than you want to know, and we manage that. We're the ones that go out and take care of that. We have a clinic. Most people do not know we have a clinic. It is for people that are on low-income services and our pets. So everybody says, well, how come why can't I get vaccines there? We intake about 10,000 animals a year. 10,000. So they're busy doing that. And we also do vaccine clinics off-site. Intake last year, just over 9,000. Before COVID, we were at about 12,000. And we had to close for 2 months because no one knew what was going to happen, and I panicked. But we managed day to day. So we were getting them out to foster, out to rescues, everything. And our intake the next year was just over 7,000. Because people found out if they're home, there's nothing better than a dog or a cat, right? To keep you, and so they kept them. So our intake dropped, but as you can see, we're going back up. Because of the, how many did you tell me? 900,000? Is it 900,000? That's why we're tired. Okay, 956 dogs were returned to owner. The large majority of those was because of microchipping. If you microchip your pet, guess what? We're gonna know your number, your address. You don't need to worry about whether they're in our shelter. We're gonna let you know. And if our field officer picks it up in your home, we'll deliver. So microchip, it's only $10 in our clinic right now. 126 cats returned to owner. Major difference, major difference. Sad thing is that is up 33% from the year before. Yeah. 903 dogs sent to rescue and over 1,400 cats sent to rescue. We are very fortunate to have our rescue partners, especially during kitten season. Height of kitten season last year was June, 642 cats in the month of June. Again, pick yours up after. We're open till 4. All right, field operations. Those are up. That is down on Fort Myers Beach there, the bottom picture. Yeah, we were busy. 85% of what they do is investigations. 85%. The rest is straight pickup, but they are very busy, and it is 24/7. 40% of our calls are after 4 p.m. Because people are home. That's when everybody's home. Over 11,000 calls for service. That is not calls into the building. That's the calls that they had to respond to. So they are very busy. Mobile vaccine clinics. We started this over a year ago. We go once a month to different locations in the county and provide free vaccines and free microchipping. I'm going to bring up microchipping a lot because I like that. So we go out. We are booked out months in advance for our vaccine clinics. We are very happy that the community takes advantage of that because we want everybody's pets up to date on their vaccines and microchipped. And over 1,200 just last year. We did just count yesterday because we did have a free microchipping initiative for quite a bit, and now it's only $10. In about 6 months, we've microchipped about 5,000 pets. So, yes. I'm expecting RTO return to owner numbers to go up next year because of that, this year. So this was, until yesterday, it was 3,000, and then we actually counted, and it is 5,000 now. So microchipping is the best thing you can do for your pet. Find My Pet portal. This is the one we just started about 6 months ago. It's a great tool. Go on our website, check it out. You'd be amazed at how many pets are lost. And usually they're not lost. Someone has them and just hasn't brought them in. They are legally in all 50 states considered property, but of course if you own one, it is not. It is your family. So people want their pets back. We did after Ian reunite a golden retriever who had been missing for 5 years. Now, do I think he was roaming around Fort Myers Beach for 5 years? No. Someone had him. It's just the second person that found him did the right thing and brought him in. And the gentleman was on the news 2 weeks later, and he said, I know Hurricane Ian was awful for a lot of people, but for me it was the best thing to happen because he got his dog back. So, yes. And because he was microchipped, by the way. Animal Care Trust Fund, that's our backup plan I was telling you about. So that's where all donations go. And it provides for all the above costs that we have not budgeted for. I mean, you drive on these roads, right? Imagine a dog hit by a car. We get a lot of those. So it will cover surgeries. We just did. We were going to bring him, actually. He's about 3 months old, puppy, who we're not sure what happened because he can't tell us, but he was missing half his jaw. Yes, no worries. He's feeling great now, I'll tell you. Yeah, he does not know. He is full of energy. If anybody's looking for a puppy, he's adorable. He's got all his energy back. I don't even think he knows what happened. And you can hardly tell because our veterinarians did such a good job on him. And Animal Care Trust Fund does pay for things like that. We use Blue Pearl for our emergency services and probably spend about $15,000 out of that fund at Blue Pearl. So that's where your donations go. Volunteer, we have information back there. If you have any questions, there's our phone number, there's our website. We did leave information back there. Please pick it up. You can find out about volunteering, our Animal Care Trust Fund, and some ordinances if you want to know those. There's a lot. But thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What an amazing service. Thank you so much. Okay, now we have our nonprofit moment here, and we're going to ask Rosalind Gula of the Estero Historical Society to share. Rosalind?
Oh, okay. Thank you. The Historical Society in Estero has been around for over 30 years, and it originated with the help of the Lee County Commissioners. And so we thank them, and we still thank them because of all the assistance that they do give us. We sit on Lee County property in the park in Estero. We have 2 houses there right now, buildings. One is the first schoolhouse, and one is a regular home that one of the residents lived in over 125 years ago. Today, the interest of the society lays in education and in preservation, and we are working right now, working with 2 buildings that we are in the process of attempting to preserve. The one that you're looking at now, we hope to move to our location. It was built over 125 years ago. The other home was also built about 125 years ago, and they're neighbors, less than a mile away from each other. The basic difference between these 2 is this home that you're looking at now was built by the president of the Waldorf Astoria in New York for his mother, Bertie, so she would have a place to entertain her New York friends. She was a talented artist, and inside the home does show that. This home has 3 bathrooms in it. The other home is 3 rooms. It's the home of a family that had citrus orchards. And behind that home, they had built a packing plant, a barn that they used throughout the years. I know you think I'm short, but I'm really on my knees begging. We need money in order to continue the preservation of those 2 buildings. Education-wise, we do give out 7 monetary awards to our students. We have 6 that we give to 4th graders and 1 that we give to a 12th grader every year. And we find that their interest lies in so many vast areas, and Estero is full of them. Estero is brand new, and we are delighted that the Village Council has taken an interest in us, and we take a true interest in them. As residents, we are delighted with the progress that has happened here. There isn't much that we aren't interested in because our nonprofit works with all the other nonprofits in Estero. The Chamber is our friend, and so are the other nonprofits. We work together, we try to raise money together, we play together, and hopefully you will recognize that when you drive through our area. There are so many things that you would want to see there. Estero is growing. We do need roads, and we need improvements, and it's happening. It is happening. We see it every day. We are very grateful that the Horizon Council gave us a few minutes to introduce what we're doing. We hope that you're going to take an interest. We're open. on Saturdays from 10 to 2. If it's between Labor Day and the 4th of July. You can come after the 4th of July. We'll be there, but you might be handed a mop or a broom because we're closed for cleaning. The 4th of July, the Estero Historical Society presents a special event. It's free. We get the assistance of fire rescue. They have the biggest flag you have ever seen. It's bigger than Perkins. And they come in the morning. We have a reading of the Declaration of Independence. This happens every year. And then there's a watermelon social. So when you haven't had your breakfast, stop over, have watermelon, listen to the Declaration of Independence, and watch the flag being raised. We hope that we'll all see you because it is a special year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So today's feature, if you can't tell, is going to be on the Village of Estero. Last meeting, we focused on Bonita Springs, and we're going to have these themes, each general membership, to see what's going on to make it a great place to live, work, and play in each of our communities, because we think this is going to be something that's going to attract businesses and keep them here and help us foster economic growth in Lee County. So with that, I'm going to ask Rafael Lopez, council member of District 5, to come up, and he's going to kick it off, and he's going to introduce the other members of the leadership team for the Village of Estero. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Rafael Lopez. I'm a District 5 councilman in the Village of Estero. I've been in office for 3 years, and I can only tell you that you made a big mistake by giving this microphone to an elected official. Big mistake. Anyway, first of all, I would like to recognize the mayor who's sitting in the audience, if she would stand up and be recognized, Joanne Ribble. And if there are any other council members in the audience, please stand up and be recognized. I guess not. It's too early for the council, but just for the record. Anyway, I am from a military and a law enforcement background, so I have learned so much from our village manager of how to run a village and how to manage a village that I don't know how much I can say about him just to introduce him, because like I said before, I'm from a military and a police background, so I really don't have much to say except to introduce the village manager and bring him up and give us a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Sarkozy, and I'm village manager in Estero. I've been doing this kind of work for almost 50 years. I started out and worked around the country and had numerous opportunities and have done work in the private sector. But frankly, I love the idea of public service, and it's always brought me back to city management. The Village Council hired me right after the incorporation in 2014. I've been working as the first full-time manager in Estero since its incorporation. As you might recall, Estero was incorporated in 2014 based on a vote of the residents where 85% of the community voted in favor of the incorporation, which was an extraordinarily high number. We're just beyond our 10-year anniversary, so we're still a very new community and still one of the newest communities in the entire state of Florida. By way of background, we have about 45,000 year-round residents. It balloons, of course, up to about 65,000 in season. Politically very stable. Our council members serve with limited pay and are very active nonetheless in the community and are highly recognized. Estero is also a very safe community. Violent crime, 75% below the state average, and property crime is 50% below state average as well. And that's in part due to the fact that our commercial activity has their own private security, as well as our gated communities also take care of security within their confines. The way we operate under the council manager plan. We have 7 elected council members, the city manager, and this form of government, of course, is modeled after the private sector, where you have a board of directors and the CEO. So we operate as a municipal corporation, and that's very much like many of the cities around here. All of the policies are adopted by council, and there's a very close relationship between myself and other members of the senior staff and the council. So there are no surprises in the way we operate. The council is well informed many months in advance of any major issue that we have. We operate under the government light concept, and this is basically our organizational chart. So for a city of 45,000 year-round, we have 15 full-time staff. So you can go anywhere in the country where, if you're from other areas, and compare the number of staff. We operate with relatively few, and we do this by contracting for direct service provision with private sector firms, and we periodically will bid out work to be done and get the best price. And it allows us to fluctuate our service delivery based on the best and cheapest model that we can get. This was the original council modeled this after the city of Weston over on the East Coast, which operates similarly. Of the 15 people that we have, the staff here are all top professionals in their respective areas. 2 of us come from outside of the area, myself and the finance director. The village engineer and our community development director are locals, but nonetheless very well background and educated in what they do. The way we operate is that despite the fact that council members come from districts, we have a focus on our functional areas of responsibility. So in the major categories where we perform services to the public, we create master plans that are done by outside consultants, and in each case, the community has a very active and extensive review of the plans as they're being developed. What this does is takes a lot of the political, if you will, the political intrigue out of the process, and it becomes very much a routine. So that when it comes up to what kind of park are we going to improve, what kind of stormwater master plan, what kind of bike or pedestrian program we're going to have, it's already been vetted well in advance through the public, and it makes for a very, very boring but predictable kind of process. And that's what really helps us keep in line and focused on what we do and within budget. So we have a very conservative approach to our operation, not only in the government light approach, but also in dropping our tax rate. As you may know, we've had 11 budgets. Of those 11 budgets, each on an annual basis, of course, but in 8 years of the 11, we've dropped our property tax rate. The 3 times that we haven't is year 1, when the council wasn't sure what we were doing. We didn't even have pencils and that type of thing. So they didn't drop it the first year. They didn't drop it during COVID, and then they didn't drop it last year. And the reason is that we were determined to have the lowest tax rate of any city over 10,000 population in the entire state of Florida. So having the low tax rate is something that we think is important. We have 0 pension liabilities. Everyone is paid on an annual basis and has 401ks or 457 accounts. but there is zero pension liabilities, and there will always be zero pension liabilities. We have very strong reserves to go along with the limited staff and the financial operation that we have. So when I say strong reserves, when a hurricane hits, we're able to respond immediately and provide services to our residents. We also have a litigation reserve, and we're not involved in litigation. We have 0 cases. But if anyone tries to bully the Village of Estero, we have a war chest that we're ready to implement immediately. We don't have to even dip into the budget. It's money ready to go. Thankfully, we've never had to use it. What this has done is created a very good financial picture. And just last year, we were awarded the AAA bond rating by Standards & Poor's. Moody's has indicated that they would act similarly if we were to pay them to review our debt and review our operations, but we've chosen not to do that at this point. But the AAA rating is, we're one of only 7 cities in the entire state that has the AAA bond rating. So what have we accomplished in the 11 years of operation? Importantly, when we incorporated, the village really had nothing. We don't have a city hall per se. We rent our space, and we just have a couple floors in an office building in one of our office parks. But what we've done is had to go out and really create all of the infrastructure that you would, think is normal for a city. First and foremost, we didn't have any land. We didn't have any ball fields. We had no soccer fields, football fields, nothing. So the first operation was to go into lease space with our fire department. We were there for a couple years, and then they kicked us out, and now we're in the office park. And it was a great relationship. They didn't kick us out, but it was, nonetheless, they were happy, I think, for us to leave. We've also, though, importantly, we've bought over 245 acres of land within the village at a cost of $41 million. Initially, part of this was a 62-acre parcel that was bought for $24.5 million. It was a 20-year bond that we paid off in 4 years. So we have an aversion to debt. We're currently debt-free. The properties that we purchase, by and large, are along the river or in some of our floodplain. So some of you will recall that when we, after Hurricane Ian, FEMA came in and was rather punitive. Those in government here will all recognize that FEMA was, squeezing us for the lack of the permits and so forth, and we're trying to squeeze and push back on our community ratings. But when they saw this map, actually, that we were taking major properties that had all been permitted for major development, we're taking them out of harm's way by purchasing them and creating public uses on those lands. FEMA found it hard to do anything to chastise us because we were working really in concert with their overall plans and guidance on a federal level. So these properties took considerable amount of land out of development. They had been permitted for apartments and whatnot. And in many cases, these properties they were egregious kind of developments that neighbors really objected to. But nonetheless, 245 acres now under control by the village. One of the key collaborations that we have is on our sports complex. Again, we had no ball fields or anything. And one of the things that we did is we assembled 100 acres immediately adjacent next to our Estero High School. This project took us a long time to assemble the 100 acres, but it really is a collaboration that provides a win for each of the agencies. Of the 100 acres, 55 acres was assembled from the school district. We have a 99-year lease with the school district. And why would the school district do this? We've agreed to make substantial improvements on what was their property, or what is their property, and provide world-class kind of recreational facilities. We would do that at our cost. We would maintain it at our cost, but give free use to the school district. So the first example here is the football field, and this is the same quality artificial turf that's in the Nashville, Tennessee National Football League Stadium. So it's the top quality artificial turf you can get. It's nice and cool, and we're hoping for the Estero football team now to become the best in the state because we've got the best facilities. But this is truly a win-win-win approach, where our residents get the win of great facilities, the school district gets the win of lower costs because they don't have to maintain the facilities, and we're not having to go out and duplicate the purchase of property for the recreational facilities that we all share. So that's 55 acres. The total project here is the master plan as I depict here. This is actually in construction as we speak. So if you go out next to the high school, you'll see this. And it will take probably a 3-year process. But we'll have soccer, all of this will be artificial turf so that we can use things year-round and not have to keep any of the fields fallow, for regular turf. It's expensive, of course, but with the win-win-win approach, we're actually saving money, not having to go out and buy the land. It's as I mentioned, a 99-year lease for $10 a year. The school district is getting us, of course, on the high cost of the development, but it's a great approach where we're all winning. In addition, we got 25 acres from Lee County, and again, the win-win-win approach was there. We bought the property from Lee County for a lesser amount. One of the parcels that they had purchased was for $700,000. We paid the $700,000, but we also agreed then to host the youth league programs that had been located on that site. So we're providing those services, and Lee County doesn't have to do the maintenance or the operation. We're doing that as part of the win-win-win approach. The remaining 20 acres is really the key to the success in this project, and it's part of a public-private partnership. The 20 acres is being developed with private uses that are going to be recreational oriented for community use. So that's on the far left side of the screen, and that project is the first project of what will be probably up to 5 different public-private partnerships, is the High Five operation out of Austin, Texas. This group is going in on our property. We're leasing the land to them at a 9% cap rate, and we're getting 40% of gross for their operation. We're controlling what they do, so it's all going to be community recreation activities like pickleball, like bowling, like putt-putt golf, like axe throwing, good family entertainment. But the idea here is that the lease rate and the revenue coming in off of these private operations will pay for the entire maintenance of the sports park. So the 100 acres is going to cost us about anywhere from $500,000 to $800,000 a year, depending upon how fast we get it built out. But that will include depreciation on all of the facilities. High Five alone is estimated to pay us $1 million to $1.5 million once they're fully operational. And they're going vertical right now in their operations, so this is about a $35 to $40 million project, privately financed. So their $1 million revenue to us covers our $800,000 cost of operation on an annual basis starting day one. Now, we also then will have other partners in some of the other pads. We're out seeking those right now. We're taking our time because we want to make sure we get the right partners. There's some really cool operations that we're looking at, indoor baseball facilities, a 4-story indoor water park, stuff like that. But no decisions have been made, and it's really a question yet for what it might look like. But these are the renderings for High Five. The outdoor pickleball courts will be, there are 21 pickleball courts. The outdoor ones will be fully covered, and there'll be 6 indoor pickleball courts as well, as along with open courts for bocce, all the other kind of stuff that you can imagine, anything that will draw a focal point for the community. And what we hope, of course, is that people come out and it becomes the meeting ground for the community. They already have 5,000 people on their email list for pickleball alone, so it's crazy. That's just from within Estero. We've held them to a very high standard for architectural detail, and you'll see that as a theme as we walk through all of the facilities that are being developed in Estero. And this caused them a great deal of concern because they don't have that standard out in Austin, Texas, but they're learning how to do business in Estero. This is another parcel that we bought. This was part of the 62 acres that's on the corner of Corkscrew and US 41. This was part of the original Koreshan community. The southern area, this is the Estero River that goes right through the middle of it. The south 30 acres was deemed by the Conservancy of Southwest Florida, the Department of Environmental Protection, even the appraisers that looked at the property, they all said this was one of the most significant areas from a landscape, the flora, just unique area. So the village council decided to keep that as a preserve, and it's really quite unique when you get in there, even though it's right at one of the major intersections in the region. The north area, it'll be developed, and it's currently in the process of developing, again, under the principle of a public-private partnership. We're looking at single-family residential on the property north of the river on the right side, or the east side of that parcel. And then on the left side is a more commercial. If you're familiar with the Estero Outfitters it's the parcel of property that wraps around that. And we've got a significant interest, and again, the significant interest from commercial uses and single-family home uses. But the idea is to take the revenue that we get off of this to be able to maintain the park as a whole. Again, this will not, just like the sports park, it will not become a drain on the property taxpayers. What other things that we're doing is we have an extensive program to extend utilities, water and sewer, to older areas of the city that basically are on septic systems and well water. These are areas that were heavily hit by Hurricane Ian, and when you flood your wells and your septic systems, that really creates an untenable situation for residents. The two projects that are almost complete are the two mobile home manufactured home communities on the right-hand side, Cypress Bend and Sunny Grove, where they have been taken off of their packaged treatment plants and tied into municipal water and sewer. So these were major polluters of the Estero River, not that they This was the common practice back in the 60s and 70s, and we're correcting that slowly but surely. Also, this is another parcel that we purchased, and we purchased this from the school board. When they found that they did not have a need for this property, we stepped in and determined that this large regional pond in this location would address the sheet flow flooding that we had during Hurricane Irma. And we're awaiting FEMA grants now to make this project happen. Other projects that we're doing, we're upgrading the landscaping on some of the major roads that we have. If you've driven on Estero Parkway, that's kind of the model that we have, where we're creating linear parks along our roads for sidewalks, landscaping, street lighting, and so forth. This is some of the designs on Corkscrew Road from Ben Hill Griffin going east. And it's connecting our community with safe pedestrian and bike activities. We also have a number of large development projects that are ongoing. And this just is a listing of some of them. Lumio at Via Coconut is a project that's being largely funded by the Riverside Group out of Illinois. They own the Aon Center, if you're familiar with the Chicago Loop, and they're a source of possible commercial relocations from the Chicago area. This is a large, top quality apartment complex that prides themselves on being at the top end of the quality scale in any region they go into. This is the project at Coconut Road and US 41, the Woodfield development, which will, it's vertical mixed use with commercial on the first floor and floors 2 through 4 or 5 as residential or office. And there's some commercial spread throughout this complex. But this is an indication of the kind of development that we're seeing both in active development and also proposed for all of the remaining properties that we have along US 41. So this will be much like, what's the project down in Mercado, thank you, down in Naples. It's that kind of development where I think everyone realizes that we're not going to be able to keep up with road construction. So instead of having to drive to Mercado or Naples, we want to bring the activities here so they're closer to home. And this is the first of what we think will be several projects. This is 34 acres, previously owned by Lee Health. And we work collaboratively with Lee Health to do the master planning that gave certainty to the village on what we would see, but also with that type of work in advance, Lee Health got a substantial bump in the sale price because the project was known, permitted, and entitled when they went to sell it. So made a few bucks on that one. Good work. This is part of the Woodfield development. Again, we hold all of our projects to a very high quality. This alone will be just about 600 units of residential, 260 room hotel, plus civic office and dining space. This is all under construction as we speak. Downtown Estero is another project, more affordable, but again, vertical mixed use, again, reflecting the high cost of property. West Bay is doing their final high-rise, 23 stories, and that is continuing as we speak. This is the type of development that just went on near Coconut Point Mall. There's a McDonald's in here, and it's not a typical McDonald's, so we hold everyone to high standards. And sometimes the developers don't like that, but all of the developers that we hear from once they're done and they get their projects done are deeply appreciative of the standard that we've been able to hold to. Miller's Ale House, these are some relatively small projects. There's your McDonald's. Others, Toll Brothers has got a townhome project. This is also in operation or in construction as we speak. This will be our second Aldi's out on Corkscrew Road. Starbucks, again, holding to high architectural standards. The Brooks Town Center Apartments, again, you can see the architectural quality. Interestingly, our Planning and Zoning Board is the gauntlet that people have to go through. They have 4 developers on that board who grumbled when they had to work in Estero, and now they are our most aggressive upholders of the quality standards, and we deeply appreciate their work, but they understand what we're trying to do, and they're totally engaged. This was controversial when it went in because it was flipping this kind of second generation use. This is tearing down a strip mall, and we're getting, again, high quality residential development. Again, infill projects that going rapidly. These are all either in construction or complete. And interestingly, this project is the old post office. The Pruitt family, a long-term family living in Estero, a family of accountants. They insisted on being in Estero. They put all of this money to modify the upper right-hand picture into their family business. This is where they're going to move their whole company. They've added something like 10 or 12 accountants, and this is where they want to stay. So we're getting a lot of long-term residents that are reinvesting in the community. So that's about it. We have strong partnerships. Rosalind talked about the Historic Society. We have a number of not-for-profits, but one of our key partners is the Greater Estero Chamber of Commerce. Cliff Brand is the president, and Cliff, if you want to come up and say a few words. You bet.
Great job, Steve. Yeah, my name's Cliff. I'm the president of the Estero Chamber. I've been doing it a little over a year now. So over 2 years ago, I finally landed a position with a credit union in Estero, so I finally live and work in the same area. So I've been all over the area of Southwest Florida, as far north as Boy Scout Summerlin, as far south as Park Shore. So I know what the traffic is like to get home. So it's definitely an honor and a blessing to be able to live and serve the community. I learned it at an early age growing up in a family-owned pharmacy in Lawrenceville. Gwinnett County was one of the fastest growing counties in the mid-90s. And this area is certainly reminding me of where I grew up. But growing up in that pharmacy, I learned to serve the community, give back to the community. And that's basically what I'm doing now. And we've seen tremendous growth. Katie Arrington, was the president previously, and she moved back to Ohio. Bill Ribble and several board members looked at me and said, well, you're doing everything. Why don't you consider doing it? And so I was graciously honored to get that position. But when I first started, we were early 200s in membership, and now we're over 270. Our deposits are up tremendously, up 160% in the 2 years. 3 big events that I want to point out that's really served our community. One is last month called Estero Fest. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. Our Vice Mayor George Lukey and several others were instrumental in bringing that to our community. We had over 92 vendors this year. We have a kids zone, and we've had Ben Allen come for the past several years, who's a local legend himself, finished in the top 10 of The Voice. But that community event is getting bigger and bigger for our small little chamber, and it is really bringing the community together. Everybody comes out, enjoys the kids zone, the food trucks, and obviously with over 92 vendors, I didn't hear a negative thing this year. A lot of positives in regards to that event. In a couple weeks, we have our golf tournament coming up. When I first started 2 years ago, we had 8 hole sponsors. This year, we have 22 hole sponsors. One of the board members asked me, isn't there only 18 holes? And I was like, well, I grew up in Georgia, so math, we didn't really look at math. So, but yeah, it's totally sold out this year. And one thing about this golf tournament, we give back monies to our historical society in that regards. And then this year, we have a special designation for Leadership Estero class. My class and our mayor's class last year decided to do a project. So we learned a lot of students in Lee County can't afford their cap and gown to walk for graduation. So some of our monies from this golf tournament are going to go towards that project. So every student in Lee County, not just Greater Estero, in Lee County, have an opportunity to walk this graduation. So. And the last thing I want to point out, we always have an annual dinner just like any other chamber. It's coming up June 5th. We're going to have Dane Eagle come down from Tallahassee, FGC alum, and talk about the economic development and everything that's going on, probably up in Tallahassee, but also speak in light of Southwest Florida. So that's Friday, June 5th at the Hyatt Coconut Point. But just like Jackie's chamber, we have food for thought lunches, live after fives, and try to bring value, give them experiences. A couple weeks ago, we paid for 55 seats at the hockey arena, so we've gotten very involved with Mike Kelly in the hockey team, and we're looking forward to them winning another Kelly Cup too. So, but yeah, other than that, just wanted to share those things, and just glad to be here. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Another round of applause for everybody. Steve, Raphael, and Cliff, thank you so much. A lot going on in the Village of Estero, and it was very exciting working with Steve and the city council and the mayor to develop the plan. It's so amazing to see it come out of the ground. Something you thought was just a vision becoming a reality, so thank you for that. All right, we're gonna open it up to questions. Does anybody have questions for our panel today as it relates to the Village of Estero? There's so much information. Thank you for the comprehensive overview. Yes. Hi.
The construction industry can apply and try to qualify. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I was asking about if you guys have like a portal, like in other cities and counties, that you will provide us with the information that people in the construction industry can apply and can become vendors to those contractors that are doing those projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we have, our website is fully loaded with all of the projects. You have direct access to that. And many of the contractors utilize that website as an access point. The private projects are coordinated basically by the owners, but any of the public projects are on our website.
But do you have their information in those?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Karen.
Hi, Karen Moore, Southwest Florida Business Today. So I started my newspaper in 2007, and I had 5 distribution areas, and I said, I got to have Estero. Estero's got to be in there, and it is going to start growing like everything else. And we waited, and we waited. And my distribution, still, Estero was the lowest distribution area I had because it's a business newspaper and we only go out to business owners. And then all of a sudden, 5 years ago, about 5 years ago, what happened? all of a sudden that this growth is happening. It's exploding all in a good way from an economic standpoint. So what can you share with that?
Well, if I may, just my perspective, it takes so doggone long to get projects up and running. So as an example, the sports park, collaboration, and then selecting private sector partners, just getting the property was a 3.5-year effort and frustrating to pull it all together. And then different projects were out there that, if you remember 5 years ago, there was the potential of downturns. So the property that was owned by Lee Health at the corner of Coconut and 41 had gone through a planning process, but it had to go back to square one and be replanned. So there's been a lot of fits and starts. I can tell you right now that what we have in the pipeline is more than double what I've shown here. So it's kind of cool stuff that's happening, but it just takes so long to rev up. And I have been trying to figure out why it takes so long, and I don't have an answer for you. It just is complicated. So.
And if he doesn't have an answer, I don't either.
Wrap it up. All right, any other questions? They're going to stick around. Hopefully you can stick around for a little bit for additional questions, and we'll open it up. Is there any voter member input anybody has? Yes. There's one.
I just wanted to let everyone know, if you do not have plans tonight, we have our Edge of Co-Chair fashion show at the Sidney and Byrne Davis Art Center. And this summer, if you are looking for something for your children to do, we have wonderful arts education camps at the Art Center. So,
Great, thank you so much. All right, well, special thanks to FSW for hosting us today. So grateful for you and for allowing us to use this space. And if nothing else, we will adjourn. Thank you so much. Great job. That was amazing. Steve, great job. That was amazing. A lot of compliments. Wow.
Thank you.